a lot of number of like churches or like Muslim like mosques in the New York City, right, Mr. Speaker, meaning that they own the land, and that property tax will be enormous, right, Mr. Speaker. We believe this proposal are going to have extremely huge impact on these religious institutions, and this is problematic. Secondly, effect on the minority religion. Mr. Speaker, not all churches, not all religious institutions are mega churches, Mr. Speaker. There are minority religions existing in our society, such as Scientology, Muslim, or Amish people, Mr. Speaker. We believe these people, these institutions, do not have, or maybe like these institutions do not have financial capability to pay taxes, Mr. Speaker, because it might be the case, because the number of the people who support that kind of religious institution is small, or maybe that religion is supported by immigrants who are poor, Mr. Speaker. As a consequence, what is going to happen under their model is that only mega churches are allowed to participate in political process, whereas these small churches, small religions are not capable of participating in politics or refrain from participating in politics, Mr. Speaker. We believe this is grossly unfair because these also minority religions have right to participate in the politics, and this will have enormous impact on that religion. Yes.
Okay. Look, these taxes are not fixed rate of like $1 million. They're the same percentage, and if these religious organizations consider an issue important, then they would push for it and they would be willing to pay it if they consider it important enough.
No, Mr. Speaker, the religious institution is not an economic entity who is constantly making a profit, right, Mr. Speaker? These religious institutions are operating their business based on the donation. They do not have ability to earn such an amount of money, Mr. Speaker, meaning that impact is enormous. This nicely brings on to my third point, which is how this proposal will make religion secularized and change the nature of religion, right, Mr. Speaker? As I've already explained, this religious institution is playing an important role of providing religious services, religious rituals, sermon, Mr. Speaker. But what this proposal is going to do, we are going to secularize religion, right, Mr. Speaker? Because when these religious institutions want to pay for the taxes, they need money, right, Mr. Speaker? And they are not economic entity. So what they're going to do? First of all, they are going to engage in more commercial activities such as selling T-shirts or selling like clothes, Mr. Speaker. And they will put less focus on religious ritual, religious sermon. We believe this is extremely problematic. The second point is to pay for the taxes. They want to get as much believer as possible. So they tend to make for example, they sensationalize the ritual, like Mr. Speaker. They tend to invite celebrity so that to give a speeches so that they will get more money, or they will change the way the sermon is conducted so that they can get a more support, Mr. Speaker. This will change the nature of the religion. For this reason, we are very proud to oppose.
I thank the leader of the opposition for his remarks. Now I'd like to call upon Deputy Prime Minister to open the case for affirmative side. Please deliver the speech within 7 minutes here.
Mr. Speaker, we believe that central to this debate is the whole concept of why must it be taxed and not completely banning them. What we argue is this, right? Basically, tax has several functions. It's also A, wealth distribution, i.e. the whole concept of recompensating people who are suffering from the currently existing majority paradigm of society, and B, also to underwrite the legitimacy of you as a citizen or as a person who can participate in politics, right? Like certain immigrants are not allowed to vote precisely because A, they may need tax, or the whole idea of their compensation to society is lesser. We argue that ultimately religious institutions can gain even more legitimacy in expressing their religious freedom if they are starting to pay tax, and I'll tell you why. Okay, rebuttals, right? Before that, let me clarify. I just don't know why suddenly religious institutions would start thinking about economic issue when they are deciding their stance. That's something I want you guys to clarify. But okay, anyways, let's deal with the things, right? Firstly, they told us about religious rights. And look, whenever we talk about rights, we must be sure that rights are limited to a certain extent. Right? There's no unfettered right existing in society. Precisely because any kind of right in which you have, particularly, no thank you, political right, will definitely affect another person existing in society, right? If you are mobilizing to enact some kind of policy or legislative change, that kind of law would indirectly affect people in society. This is why precisely you need to pay tax to a certain extent, so that even though certain people, certain minority that lost out in the political battle against you, the amount of money you contribute or the amount of money that the state has will go and recompensate so that these people don't suffer too much from something that's going on, right? For instance, if the Buddhist monks won in Thailand and the national religion became Buddhism, maybe Muslim people will be marginalized. In that case, the state can go recompensate to make sure that the Muslim minority won't disappear from society. No, thank you. This is something that's very important about rights. Let's look at two different paradigms of these institutions, because we argue religious institutions are also diverse. There are those who are literal a-hole and also those who are good. Let's assume that they're good, right? Why is it better under our case? Because first, we personally believe they need to be taxed precisely because what I told you, that there needs to be a constant recompensation. Even if it's a good deed towards society, then thank you, some people still could be losing out at democracy about making sure minority don't lose. But second, we think that the whole concept of paying tax underwrites the validity of you as a political entity within a society. Because now you are directly contributing to society for a function of the state, right? And we think that the reason why religious people are marginalized for the domain of politics is precisely because the extreme secularism existing. That look, religious ideology are so wrong, they just shut up and be away, right? We think the whole idea of them paying tax means that they're willing to pay, they're willing to contribute back to the whole concept that's existing now, and also we're willing to streamline so that we make sure that the cost we pay is something good, something Huang told you. But lastly, the reason why they need to pay, hang on a second, is because they benefit from the state, right? Whenever you want to push for some kind of legislative change, for instance, you need to go through certain state mechanism. For instance, you need to petition, and then goes to bureaucracy. You know what? People debate it out, etc., etc. So you are, when the religion decides to step into politics, they are now benefiting from the state mechanism currently existing, which should be funded by a tax. Go.
Well, the religious believer are also paying the taxes as other citizens. And what we are saying is that for religious believer to be on the same position of other people, already whose issue, already their interested issue is already agenda, what we are saying is
the thing between it, we think there's a massive distinction between a religious institution and religious individual, right? If I'm a Buddhist and want to go for, I don't know, a law based on karma, that's my perfect, right? That I can just take on the ballot box, right? But when a bloody religious institution called the monk organization of Thailand is coming out and protesting on the street, there's a massive difference there. Because now they are becoming sort of legal entity pushing political change. That's the difference. Okay. Now let's talk about the case scenarios where these institutions are becoming a-hole, right? Because we think, firstly, perhaps their rights should be limited, right? Because if they are pushing for something extremely radical and bad, perhaps they should shut up actually, right? That's something that tax does. If they are, because ultimately if we put in the money into their decision-making calculus, they start thinking that, is this something worth the cost I have to pay to the state, right? So that means what they're going to do, far more likely to do is A, shut up, B, they streamline whatever they're trying to say to be more palatable to the general public. That means it's far more debatable and far more arguable in the discourse society, which is actually my extension. Second, right, but even if they somehow win society, we doubt they will, but even if they win, the tax in which they pay, we're going to recompensation for a minority that are losing out from that created social paradigm. So we think that's good. Let's talk about the second thing that they told us, right? The whole idea of minorities. Firstly, they don't have capability. We think, A, that's false, because we never said, I mean, guys, if we're gonna tax certain different corporations, we're probably not gonna have a total flat rate, right? I mean, it's gonna be proportionate based on their income. B, religious institutions are pretty rich because donation comes in a lot, and yeah. The last thing they talk about, they're gonna start selling T-shirts and stuff like that. I mean, okay, to a certain extent, we're saying that maybe they'll do that, but perhaps it's good because they could potentially also say, here are the reasons why our religion is good, giving leaflets and giving some stuff, selling, but also at the same time promoting their good ideology as well. So maybe those actions would be working together with their religious ideology. Okay, extension. The whole concept of diversity of the ideology, why this is something extremely important for societal discourse, especially when religious institutions are pretty damn powerful in our existing society. Because we think that any person in society has the right to buy in to any kind of ideologies, right? They can have the total right, if they want to be religious, that's their right. Here's the thing, the core thought of democracy is that when there are multiple different people who have different ideologies, you have the right to be in the public discourse arena, and you have the right to play a part in the interest aggregation, right? Ultimately, say things like public debate, things like election is about, let's see who's what's the biggest interest out there and make that happen. Here's the thing, we think anyone has the right to advocate, precisely because if they are ruled out from that process, ultimately they will not be able to accept the outcome, right? for a couple of reasons. Like ultimately, we think this thing would make the deliberation that exists in society better. Because one, it would increase the quality because there are multiple diverse ideas. When there are multiple diverse ideas, you need to make sure that what you stand for is applicable even though towards those multiple different people. That means you need to make sure that consensus can be reached even though there are multiple diversity. Precisely when we are taxing them, we'll be making sure that so that they think are more they can reach some kind of consensus, basically. Second, that it makes the outcome more acceptable for these people. Because if someone's religious and I see my religious institution being deliberately taken out from the societal discourse, I'll basically feel, hey, this is something unfair because something I believe in is kind of like marginalized by the general public discourse. That leads to these people, probably radicalizing more, that I don't accept this because I was never part of this, right? Practically speaking, this means a couple of things. When the liberals win, it means religious people will probably be more accepting towards that kind of outcome. Because it means liberal people did listen to them and they came out with some kind of consensus. For this reason, we're extremely proud to propose.
I thank the Deputy Prime Minister for his remarks. I would like to call on a member of opposition to continue to push the negative side. Please deliver the speech within 7 minutes again.
I'm going to deal with 3 issues in my speech. First, I'm going to deal with the participation in politics and the principle of reciprocity presented by the side of the House. Secondly, I'm going to tell you about how the religious institutions are disempowered in the after plan, we think that's harmful for the religious identity. Thirdly, I'm going to tell you how this policy is going to invite unnecessary state intervention into the religious field through the use of taxing or checking whether tax is used properly or not. So firstly, before that, let me point out, let me refute the previous speakers. That's our argument about pluralism or idea is very important. Firstly, we say from outside of the House that religious idea, the religious issue is more important than economic issues or other issues. Therefore, we think it is very important. So that's my second argument. So secondly, even if the comparative importance is the same, we think the chance for religious identity to be issued in the political field is much less compared to the other economic issues or so forth. Therefore, if we force religious institutions to be on the equal field of other economic institutions or so forth, we make them have actually combated disadvantage. Therefore, we should not take this proposal in terms of pluralism or so forth. Please. So firstly, about the reciprocity. So basic idea from them is firstly, because religious institutions come to participate in politics through history, we have to tax them. Firstly, even in times when they did not participate in politics, actually state protected the region. For example, state made prioritization of religious institutions to use certain lands by excluding people, non-religious people from these kind of places. Therefore, whether or not that means that make influence on the other people, non-believers. Therefore, whether or not they come to participate in politics has no meaning in this debate. But secondly, they said that because these institutions want to change the society, therefore, which might not be agreed with by non-believers, therefore we have to tax them. Firstly, we say, of course, religious institutions, religious peoples are paying tax as an individual. So they say here, because they can vote for religious issues in election, that's okay. What we are saying is that they cannot vote for the religious issues because that issue is not become issue in the politics because there's no intervention or pressure coming from this institution. Without this pressure from religious institution, that kind of religious issue cannot be political issue in the election. But secondly, we say, thirdly they say they rely on the idea of there's no difference between economic institution and religious institution. Therefore, we have to tax religious institution. We think there's a clear difference from economic rights and religious rights. For example, look at the case of the Constitution. In case of judicial reviews in the many countries' Supreme Courts, they overweigh. They weigh right to believe over economic right in the first place. Why is that the case? Because we think money or economy can be replaceable by money, right? However, we think, imagine you're Catholic and you go to church every day, but church is very old, and church is tear down by the earthquake because there's no money for you to actually build up this church again. We think in that situation, because your symbol is lost, there's no replaceable church anywhere. Therefore, there's clear difference between economic rights and religious rights in the first place. Yes, please.
Your religious issues is important to you, who's a Christian, so to say. But why must it be more important than economics to me, who's an atheist?
Because economy can be economic issue can be made issue not only by economic institutions but also by the state. The state has no incentive to actually make the religious issues political issue in the field because we think pious believers are a minority. Therefore, in order for states to be able to get much support from the majority people, they prioritize economic issues. So secondly, about minority religious organizations are going to be disempowered. So response from the side of the house is very, very simple. Not so much money is going to be lost because that is just taxation. Firstly, they do not show any sort of difference from the status quo. If the taxation is low, they have no contribution back to the society. But second of all, we are talking about comparative advantage, comparative relation between economic institutions and religious institutions. If we put same tax on the economic institution and religious institutions, we think religious institutions are going to be disempowered, disadvantaged because they have no way to actually earn money in the first place. How can we say that we can force them to be on the equal side with a very, very rich economic institutions? Therefore, given the fact that in order for them to make politicians weigh religious issues or economic issues, they have to compete with economic institutions constantly. Therefore, money is very important in this constant competition. Then they say state can protect minority religion anywhere. We said this